Tesco's bottle. I ran out of my Tesco's bottle. Welcome to the channel, everyone. So my name's Chris. I'm going to be using this channel to learn more about cars and diagnostics, engines, everything. So I'm going to make mistakes along the way. Follow along if you want to learn a bit. Today I'm going to be working on my girlfriend's 1.2 TSI Golf. So hopefully at the end of this video I still have a girlfriend. So I started the other day, passenger side, my neighbours just started cutting his grass. Passenger side rear brake pads were completely worn out, so I'm going to try to figure out why. So I started and obviously realised then that I needed some diagnostics or OBD11 to wind back in the electronic handbrake. So I have bought the new OBD11, so we're going to be using that for the first time today, so you can make the mistakes with me, and if you have any questions throw them into the comments. So again, the car is 1.2 TSI 2014 Golf. It's like 140,000 on it. The discs and all look in decent condition, so we'll try to figure out why the brake pads have completely worn out on one side. So wheel off, bring it a bit closer. So it looks okay on this side. The pads actually still have a little bit on them, so we'll still change them in anyway. So back here for the slider pins, a little cap. So we're popping the cap out. Neighbour stopped cutting his grass so we can hear what we're doing. So popping them out on either side. And then I think it's a size 10 of these. So it actually wasn't a size 10, it's one of these attachments. So you pop the attachment in. So I'm going to back these completely up. I'm going to take the caliper completely off because I'm going to do a clean in behind. I think I have to push it through once it's completely loosened. So I do eventually want to upgrade all these tools. I would love to get a big tang chest. The alarm went off in the house this morning. I was sitting up at 5 o'clock this morning looking at tang tools. So I will eventually buy something like that. So once that's out, you can just push these back. Probably need a bit of grease. Not that easy. So that's why I bought the slider pin grease. So now we have to take this off next. No, this is strong enough, so I'll probably have to come back and get another screwdriver just to pop the wire off. So me reefing at it, I forgot to let the handbrake off. So next we're going to let the handbrake off. I'm actually going to block under the front wheel on the passenger side so it doesn't roll. So we'll let the handbrake off. There's no pads in it. So when I took the other side out, my dad threw the brake pads out, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge. On the other side, when we go to wind the electronic handbrake back in, so this should be quite easy now. Probably a bigger screwdriver. Wiggle this way out. And we'll see, and we can start doing the OBD. Them pads aren't the worst. The other side was completely like just metal, so we're gonna have to figure out why the other side was so bad. So I'm just gonna leave that sitting there for now. Brakes out, caliper off. I'm gonna give everything a quick clean up. We'll go in. I have a Mac over there, so I have the app downloaded onto the Mac where we can have a look at the OBD and we'll see how to wind these back, because I've done brakes before, rear brakes, but I've never done them where you had to use something like OBD then to wind them back. So we'll go through all of that. I'm learning too. So, sitting in the car now, have the OBD11. It's only bought the other day, so I don't really have to use it yet. I actually used Matt Armstrong's discount code, so I got 10% off, so I ended up getting it for 125, I think, including delivery. So what you do is, underneath here, down, just going to pop the OBD in, should light up. So I'll just flip the camera. So this is the home screen of the OBD, so we're just going to click connect. Yes on that. So we'll let it connect up, we'll see what happens. So for some reason when you're scanning the car, the radio comes on and off. If that happens to anyone else, turn the lights off so the battery doesn't drain. So I'm after clicking into it here, and there's 12 faults. So we'll just click into them. So we have unknown, invalid data received from steering angle sensor module, random misfire detected in cylinder 1. What else? Cylinder 4, misfire detected. What else have we got? Brakes fault, steering angle sensor, left parking brake motor, implausible signal, steering assistance, air conditioning, central electrics, and tank lid unlocked activation, remote control. So they're low risk. So you probably know what we're going to be doing in the next video, probably looking into them misfires. So what I'm going to do is go back in and see, can we do brake pad replacement. So I'm going to flip the camera around to show you this. So these are all the faults found. Very easy, so we could clear them. I'm not going to clear them just yet. So it's literally just clicking on faults. Down here you have to get credits. So brake pad replacement is 10 credits, which I got 100 credits free in the top corner when I signed up. So we'll click into that. And let's try to park, make in car procedure, turn ignition on, ignition off, brake cycle. So I'm just going to go through this so I can concentrate, and then I'll put the video back on. So it says here at the start, EPB, electronic braking and parking brake in car procedure. So turn ignition on, engine off, cycle the parking brake on, then off by pressing EPB button. Use open function to open brake calipers. It is normal that the LED in the parking brake switch and warning lamp in the instrument cluster is blinking. Turn ignition off and replace the brake pad. So we'll go as far as that, and then we'll jump back on and see how we go. Okay, so I made my first mistake. So I said when I was doing this channel I'd keep everything in, so I'm gonna leave it in the video. What happened was, so don't do it this way. So this is the way not to do brakes on the rear of a Golf. So what I did, I hopped into the car, plugged the OBD reader in. Anytime I've done brakes before, I've always taken the brake pads out first. So stripped apart brake pads, pushed the piston back in, and just put it back in the same way you took it off. Obviously not the way you do it on the Golf. So I obviously took this apart. So took the brake pads out, took the caliper off, got into the car, turned the OBD reader on, went into service mode, which I should have done before I took the brake pads off, and then didn't think about not having the brake pads in, and then cycled the handbrake. Piston came all the way out. So I had to get the piston to go back all the way in, which was tough enough. So I do have it done, so I'm going to record the rest of putting it back together, and then I've still the opposite side to do. So this is how you don't do brake pads on the rear of a Mark 7 Golf. So I'm just after taking the 2 slide pins out, so I'm just going to put a bit of this APEC grease, if it comes out, on. Jesus. So I'm just going to rub that around, start putting it back together. So slide that back in. Goes in a hell of a lot easier than it came out. Same again on this one. They were quite dry. Same again. Put that back in. Goes in way easier. So we just want to make sure we don't get any on the front of the brake pads or onto the caliper. And then on the side here, I'm about to clean it up already. So we're just going to pop a little bit in there. For the ears, the brake pad. Put that pad in. Oops, pad. Sure, the sliders are pushed back. And it sits in perfectly. So back on, everything looks good. I'm just going to tighten everything up now, so I'll probably do this sped up so you don't have to listen to me waffling on. And a gun. Need to buy an impact gun. My arm is dead. So you can go in. Don't make myself the shin. I wouldn't mind, I've done brakes, rear brakes, loads of times. In my first YouTube video, run into loads of problems. So I just want to get them tight enough that we can get it on the ground, and then we can do a proper. Okay, before we go any further, I just want to thank the sponsor of today's video. So Tesco's Irish Spring Water still, it's the one I like to use. That's the flavour I like. Days like today in Ireland, it's 26 degrees and it's still fairly early. So very important to stay hydrated. So again, my favourite flavour is still. If you want to get 10% off your favourite Tesco's Irish Still Water, put code Chris10 into the checkout. I'm just joking, I have no sponsors because I have no subscribers yet. But if anyone does want to sponsor me, email me. Let's get on with the brakes. Crank these ones off. Oh. Already got this side off. So loose. It is in first gear, by the way. Maybe a sponsor for a gun wouldn't be a bad thing. I think of a bit of meat or water in his nose. So this is the problem I have after putting the car into service mode too early. So piston is really far out, so I have to wind the piston back in now to make enough space to get the pads back in. So again, I'll probably just put this in, speed this all up. Okay, pistons on this side is fully back in. Was a bit of a pain in the arse, but it sit nicely now down over the pads. So this side was the bit that was worrying me, because on this side the pads were completely worn down to the metal. So I am going to keep an eye over the next while to see how fast the pads are wearing. Is there a problem with that caliber, or maybe slider pins just need a bit of grease because they aren't moving very easy? So I'll grease them up and get it all back together. I did take the EPB off the back of it just to have a look to see, because it was sticking on this side, so it seems to be okay. So I'm going to put it back on. This side's a little bit awkward. Okay, so coming to the end of the video now, so I'm going to plug in the OBD again, and we'll take it out of the service mode. So open up OBD, we'll connect with the car. So it's connecting. So this is pretty much the end of the video. So yeah, don't take the pads out before you put it into service mode. So it's going to read all the faults. I noticed the radio goes a bit funny when you do this. The radio starts popping in and out. So I'll just turn it off for a second and then I'll be back on. So we have a good few faults, so we will have another video to do. So down bottom left here, another 10 credits. I didn't know you had to do that. So select options and then we're going to close. So ignition's on, activate. You can hear the EPB winding back in. And we should be good to go. So there's a few lights flashing, so we'll probably clear all the faults off the dash then and then figure it out. So one last thing then, camera right at my face. I just took the brake fluid reservoir off, so just make sure that's nice and tight back on. We'll close the bonnet down. And that's pretty much the job done. So I still have to torque up the back wheels, but it went back on okay. So I'm going to start it up, clear all the faults. Yeah, again, so video went well, but every brakes I've done before, I've never had electronic parking brakes. So learn from my lesson that don't put it into service mode before, or don't put it into service mode before you take the pads out, because it's just a pain in the arse, because it makes you cycle the handbrake, and that's what brought it in too far for me. So this lastly, I'm going to torque these wheel nuts up. So a quick little test drive. Put on your seatbelt. It's absolutely roasting here, so it's another job that has to be fixed. The windows are a pain in the arse in this car. Hope I don't run over my Tesco's bottle. I ran over my Tesco's bottle. Does handbrake work? Yes. I think I might have lost my Tesco sponsorship after driving over the bottle. So quick little test drive. Bring to the front of the estate. Let's make sure the handbrake is coming off on its own, so it's a good sign. Little dumb fab sound, I love that in this car. It's braking okay. So yeah, that's the end of the video. First video. So any advice you have, throw it into the comments. There was a few points where I thought, oh, fuck this up, and the pistons came out too far, but we got there in the end. And at the end of the day, there's no point me lying and saying everything went okay when it didn't. So as I said, if you're doing the rear brakes, I don't think you'd necessarily need the OBD reader, but if you are going to buy it, put it into service mode before you take the pads out. You can take the motor off the back, because I did it on one side and wind the back in yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole job done. Car's driving, back brake, the brakes are actually very good. So thanks for watching, and subscribe if you can. So this is probably going to be the next video. I don't know when I'll get it done, but this is my 2011 GSX-R 600. So it has a bit of a weep in one of the fork seals. So I'm going to try take them off. There's only 4,000 kilometers on it, and it's absolutely mint. So I'm going to try, maybe in the next video I'll take the forks out and send them off to get them repaired.